You guys asked for it and I'm delivering. Here's part 2 of the best waiver wire pickups in MLB history. Today we've got 5 players, some recent and some not so recent. These are players who got designated for assignment at one point in their career and from there got picked up by another team on waivers and proceeded to become prominent major leaguers. It's one of the most fascinating things in MLB roster construction, and while it doesn't always pay huge dividends, sometimes players fall through the cracks that should be on major league rosters. Let's not waste any more time and get right into it, and if you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure you leave a like on the video and subscribe to the Jolly Olive channel. Let's go. Let's kick things off with our most recent example. In 2016, it looked like Gary Sanchez was going to become the next great slugging catcher in MLB. Suffice to say, there have been bumps in the road since then, though Sanchez has carved out something of a nice career nearly a decade into things now. After posting a .923 OPS with an All-Star nod, Silver Slugger, and runner-up finish in Rookie of the Year voting over his first 2 seasons, things did tail off a bit for Gary Sanchez and the Yankees starting in 2018. His on-base numbers plummeted below a 300 clip, and his defensive woes persisted with a league-leading 18 passed balls, and some of these clips are pretty hard to watch. But the Yankees tried to make the situation with Gary Sanchez last as long as possible. Things went up and down after that rough 2018 season, with Sanchez even returning to the All-Star game in 2019, but it finally hit a breaking point in 2021. The Yankees decided to package Gary Sanchez in a trade with the Minnesota Twins that brought Josh Donaldson and others to the Bronx, and everyone was really happy about the trade and lived happily ever after. Sanchez's numbers reached a new low for the Minnesota Twins despite playing a career-high 128 games, and he wasn't initially able to find a new home for the 2023 season. He caught on with the San Francisco Giants on a minor league contract, but struggled to get anything going in 16 games before asking out of his deal to seek other options. The New York Mets took a flyer on him as well, and once their depth thinned out rather quickly in May, Gary Sanchez got a call to appear on the main roster. He collected a hit and an RBI in 3 games before roster crunch claimed his spot, landing him on the waiver wire. Luckily, the San Diego Padres were in the market for a catcher with a potential opportunity to be the starting backstop due to Austin Nola's persistent offensive woes. Sanchez was able to find himself again, perfectly assimilating into the role of Blake Snell's personal catcher during his Cy Young campaign. Seriously, man, look at these numbers. I don't care who your best friend is, how much you like him or her, they're not getting this kind of performance out of you. He also got back to being Gary at the plate, clubbing 19 home runs in just 72 games. His .492 slugging clip ranked 3rd in Major League Baseball, trailing only Mitch Garver and Yainer Diaz, and both those guys had a decent amount of DH time as well. His 40.2 hard hit percentage ranked 2nd in MLB for catchers, ranked behind someone he'll become pretty familiar with in the upcoming season. A right wrist fracture cut his season short in September, but Sanchez's resurgent performance from June on helped him secure a 1-year contract with the Milwaukee Brewers to back up one of the best catchers in the game in William Contreras. Just months after failing to receive a single major league offer, Gary Sanchez's career is back on track as he gets ready to embark on his 10th season as a major leaguer. Now, this is part 2 of this series, so naturally we should have a 2-time waiver player on this list, right? I didn't think this player existed, but lo and behold, I found him. After going undrafted out of college in 2006, Darren O'Day made the leap to the major leagues pretty quickly. Now, he wasn't able to throw over 90 miles per hour, which is a big reason why he probably went undrafted, but his fastball sinker slider combo showed great promise. The New York Mets nabbed him in the Rule 5 draft, only to designate him for assignment after 4 games in 2009. The Texas Rangers claimed O'Day off waivers, and he turned into an absolute stud for them. From 2009 to 2010, his cumulative 1.94 ERA and 0.94 WHIP were both 3rd best among all pitchers with at least 120 innings pitched, trailing only Andrew Bailey and Mariano Rivera. But a tear in his left hip and right shoulder inflammation kept him off the field in 2011, and shockingly enough, O'Day was designated for assignment from a talented Rangers roster that had just made 2 consecutive World Series. The Baltimore Orioles, 4th in waiver priority after a dismal 69-win season in 2011, acted quickly and nabbed O'Day off waivers, assuming the measly $1.3 million owed to him for 2012. O'Day ended up recovering fully from his barrage of ailments the year prior and would go on to pitch a then career-high 67 innings for the Orioles in 2012. This kicked off an unbelievable 4-year stretch for Darren O'Day in the bullpen as he set up various closers from Jim Johnson to Zach Britton to Andrew Miller. From 2012 to 2015, O'Day pitched over 250 innings with a sub-2 ERA, 0.94 WHIP, and an ERA plus well over 200. His 1.92 ERA in this frame was once again 3rd among all pitchers, trailing only Aroldis Chapman and Craig Kimbrell. O'Day would continue to pitch for the Orioles until 2018, tallying 7 years total for the Black and Orange, placing him 6th all-time in their franchise's history for games pitched. All of this from a simple waiver claim. You can really only find like one lowlight from this entire era of Darren O'Day pitching for the Baltimore Orioles, and it was him absolutely getting so scared when Buck Showalter pretended to get mad at him for riding around on his solo wheel during a matchup with the Mets at Citi Field.
Isn't this a contract year for you? It wouldn't be real good if you fell off it, you know?
No.
Ain't real smart. What's paying you more, this or pitching for us?
You guys
got to get your priorities in order.
Would it be okay if he wrote it in the dugout?
I don't know. It ain't okay. Are you part of this?
I'm the reporter.
I don't care who you are. Why don't we get a 3-ring circus? You got elephants and dancing bears. Let's get that too.
Are you okay knowing that you've just been pranked?
Pranked.
You're not a bad actor though.
Can I get on it?
From his initial DFA in 2008 with the Angels to his abrupt second DFA in 2011 with the Rangers, O'Day persevered and pitched for 15 years in Major League Baseball, making an All-Star team in 2015, managing a 1.67 ERA plus for his career, and earning nearly $50 million as a ball player. He also got an early start on his broadcasting and journalism career by interviewing A.J. Minter with the Banana. He did all of this while basically being the only notable submarine pitcher of his time. O'Day is a true unicorn, and it's crazy to think that multiple teams gave up on him for nothing more than a couple pennies on the average MLB dollar. Let's turn the clock back 25 years for our next example. 14 players out of the 1,600 draftees from the 1997 draft went on to have a career WAR of 20 or better, which is a pretty exclusive group, less than 1% of the entire draft class. 12 of those 14 players were taken within the first 200 picks of the draft, all taken within the first 8 rounds. The last 2 members of this group were buried all the way in the 43rd round. Stud second baseman Orlando Hudson, who played 11 years in MLB and won 4 Gold Gloves, and our next entry to the list, a defensive wizard of a shortstop by the name of David Eckstein. He batted over 300, managed an OPS over 800, and stole over 20 bases in each of his first 3 minor league seasons. However, he did hit a snag in Pawtucket at AAA in the year 2000. Shockingly enough, this half season of poor play was enough for Boston to designate Eckstein for assignment in August. By next season, the Angels gave him the keys to the shortstop position, with poor play at that position annually since 1996. Their shortstop weighted runs created plus was just 60, 40% below league average, and dead last in MLB from 1996 to 2000. So Eckstein found himself in the perfect situation. After breaking camp with the 2001 team, Eckstein hit .313 in his first month and swiftly claimed the shortstop job. He instantly dazzled with his glove and did enough at the plate throughout the season, hitting .285 and swiping 29 bases with great efficiency. He finished 4th in AL Rookie of the Year voting that year, and an absolutely stacked first-year class of Ichiro Suzuki, CC Sabathia, and Alfonso Soriano. He got even better in 2002, leading MLB with 3 Grand Slams, 2 of them coming in back-to-back games. It was the only positive OPS plus season of his long career, even if it was just a mark of 101. He improved his defense and his batting average, finishing 11th in AL MVP voting in the middle of the steroid era, and helped the Angels not only return to the playoffs, but also win their first and only World Series. He hit safely in 13 of their 16 postseason games, batting .294 on their magic run. This team is a lot of fun, and if you want to take a deeper dive, I have a whole video about them. Also, this guy was the definition of scrappy, definitely your uncle's favorite player. I mean, he led the league in hit by pitches and sacrificed bunts his first 2 seasons. I mean, you talk about a guy that's willing to put his body on the line. He's a selfless player, bunting people over, making sure other people can get the RBIs. They don't make players like that anymore. You know, they got the players that hit 50 homers a season. They're striking out every at bat, but oh, let me do my bat flip, you know, and they don't hustle either. He went on to sign with the St. Louis Cardinals, making back-to-back All-Star teams in his first 2 seasons there, winning his second World Series ring in 2006 and claiming the World Series MVP award in that matchup. Eckstein played a full decade in the league after nearly falling out of the league before taking his first at-bat. Quick interruption on today's video to thank today's sponsor, which is the DraftKings Sportsbook. Baseball season is still a few weeks away, but basketball season has been well underway and playoffs are right around the corner. You can start your sports betting on basketball or any sport your heart desires with the DraftKings Sportsbook, and if you use promo code OLIVES, you'll get a no-sweat bet. With a minimum deposit of $5, you can get a bonus bet back up to $1,000 in the amount of your original bet, and if sports betting is not yet available in your state, you can still get in on the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy for a shot to win daily cash prizes. It all starts at the DraftKings Sportsbook with my promo code OLIVES, so make sure you download the app right now, use that promo code, and start betting today. The crown is yours. Now, let's get back to the video. Now, for our next entry, we have to kind of address an elephant in the room, the Cleveland baseball franchise has had a pretty tough lineage of letting great position players just slip away for nothing. You can go back to the 1990s and 2000s for guys like Brian Giles, Richie Sexson, Jeremy Burnitz, and Brandon Phillips, or you can go way more timely with recent breakout stars such as Nolan Jones and Will Benson and Yainer Diaz. I mean, the list goes on and on. The Indians failed to give first baseman Jesus Aguilar any sort of substantial playing time. This came despite the fact that he was ranked a top 15 prospect in their system and that he routinely put up monstrous offensive numbers at AAA, including a 905 OPS in 118 games in 2014 and 30 home runs in 2016 as Cleveland rode their magic to an AL pennant. In this window, Aguilar got just 64 plate appearances of run and failed to impress with his spotty playing time. Before spring training rolled around in 2017, the Indians designated Aguilar for assignment in late January, and he ended up on the waiver wire, freeing up any team to put in a claim and see him get some reps to potentially make an opening day roster. The Milwaukee Brewers became that team, decently high in waiver priority due to a lackluster record of 73 and 89 in the 2016 season. Aguilar did impress that spring, hitting .452 with an OPS over 1,300 and 7 home runs in 25 games. He made their active roster and would maintain that spot for the entire 2017 season in a platoon role. Platooning at first base with Eric Thames, he managed an .837 OPS and over 300 plate appearances that year. A lot more was asked of him in 2018 when his playing time expanded greatly due to an early season injury to his platoon partner in Eric Thames. He seized the opportunity and became the everyday first baseman in Milwaukee. He smacked 8 home runs in May alone, then upped the ante in June with a 10 home run month and an OPS of nearly 1,100 in 23 games. After he finished the first half with a .621 slugging percentage, he was named to his first All-Star team. Though he slowed down a bit in the second half, it couldn't ruin what was an unbelievable season for Aguilar. His 35 home runs ranked 5th in the National League just behind his teammate MVP winner Christian Yelich, and best of any first baseman in the National League. He also ranked top 10 or better in the NL for RBIs, slugging percentage, OPS, and weighted runs created plus. Brewers got all this production from a simple waiver claim in spring training the year prior. Though things have been a bit up and down since that magic 2018 season, there's no denying that letting a slugger of Aguilar's caliber slip to the waiver system was a massive mistake. Though his most recent contract with the A's didn't pan out very well, he's made nearly $20 million as a player after failing to get a real shot with Cleveland in the first place. Our last entry is another reliever who went from a waiver claim to the best closer in baseball. Originally a 26th round pick in the 2005 draft out of high school, Yates decided to go to college instead, where he unfortunately got Tommy John surgery the following year. After finishing his college days, he went undrafted in 2009, much like Darren O'Day. After signing as a UDFA with the Tampa Bay Rays, he began a 6-year journey through the minor leagues, eventually transitioning from a starter to reliever role and closing out games. He cracked the Rays roster in 2014 and pitched efficiently over 37 games, but he struggled mightily in 2015 as his ERA doubled. This began a seemingly endless cycle of minor league deals, trades, and waiver claims for Yates. The Indians acquired him for cash considerations before trading him to the Yankees for those same cash considerations ahead of the 2016 season. He struggled again in pinstripes and was DFA'd again that offseason, where the Angels put in a claim in their perpetual need for good pitching. He failed to crack their opening day roster, and after just one rough appearance, he was DFA'd once again. At the end of April, he was claimed yet again, this time by the Padres. Yates finally found a stable home in SoCal, pitching in a surprisingly effective Padres bullpen. The Padres helped him develop a split-finger fastball, which quickly became the strikeout pitch he relied on heavily, ditching his ineffective slider. His 38.1 strikeout percentage was 7th in MLB among pitchers with at least 50 innings pitched in 2017, after never pitching to a mark above 29% in any of his seasons prior. From here, Yates took off completely. After the trade of Brad Hand, Yates assumed the closer role in San Diego and became one of the best leverage relievers in baseball. He saved a dozen games in 2018, then led all of MLB with 41 saves in 2019. Between the 2 years, he pitched a cumulative 123 innings with a 1.67 ERA, which was best in all of baseball. Unfortunately, the revival of Yates' career after this unbelievable peak was plagued with injury. He missed most of 2020 with elbow issues and all of 2021 with another Tommy John surgery. As of right now, Yates is pitching well in Rangers camp, looking to continue through a career filled with triumph and adversity. And that'll do it for my list of 5 players. I think we've found pretty much every notable waiver wire pickup, but if there was somehow one I missed, make sure you leave a comment down below and let me know. As always, if you guys enjoyed today's video, leave a like on the video and subscribe to the Jolly Olive channel. I'd really appreciate it. That'll do it for me, and I'll see you guys next time.